Across Africa, Eid is not just a ritual, it's a story. A sacred moment told in rhythm, roasted meat, and memory. Eid al-Adha, known as the Festival of Sacrifice, is commemorated by Muslims around the world as a testament to faith and obedience, honoring the moment when Prophet Ibrahim was willing to sacrifice his son in devotion to God. But here, in the heart of African villages, that devotion takes on additional layers of ancestry, of rhythm, of cultural memory, passed down like sacred inheritance. In Africa, the celebration of Eid often transcends its canonical bounds, becoming an expression of both faith and identity. It becomes a canvas where Islamic devotion is painted with the colors of local customs, infused with ancestral songs, sacred drumming, storytelling, and the communal spirit that defines rural life. Songs passed down through generations are not just performed, they're remembered. Chants echo in native dialects that carry the pulse of forgotten lineages. Drums beat like heartbeats, guiding the dances that give voice to stories no longer written, but still deeply known. Families prepare for the feast in unison, with recipes that honor both the sacrifice of Ibrahim and the memory of their own forebears. Food here is not only nourishment, it's offering, ritual, a bridge between generations. As the sun ascends and prayers begin, this film invites you on a journey, not just across geography but through memory and spirit. From the deserts of Sudan to the coastal islands of Comoros, from Hausa kingdoms to Sufi brotherhoods, we will witness how Eid in African villages is not merely celebrated, it is reborn in the soil, the songs, and the souls of its people. Stay with us, the story is just beginning. As the moon begins to wane and whispers of its return ripple through the air, the village prepares. Not just for a holiday, but for something ancestral. In this Hausa village tucked deep within the folds of northern Nigeria, Eid al-Adha is more than an obligation. It is a ritual of memory, a celebration that begins with sound. Nights before Eid are filled with voices harmonizing into the wind, elders gathering to rehearse waka songs passed down by generations. These aren't merely melodies, they're sacred narratives, sung praise stitched with history, faith, and ancestral wisdom. Young boys and girls seated around flickering kerosene lamps commit every word to memory, not from paper, but from the living breath of their elders. Their voices join the chorus like brushstrokes to a mural, making sure nothing is lost. As dawn approaches, tailors work through the final hours, folding pristine Babon Riga robes embroidered with gold and cobalt thread, ready for the procession. The scent of clove-infused meat rises through open-air kitchens. Drums begin to beat low and steady, syncing with the heartbeat of the village. As the call to prayer cracks the silence, men and women pour into the open square, where the Eid prayers will be held. But even before the first line of worship is spoken, the spectacle begins. A cavalcade of horsemen emerges through the mist, clad in vibrant robes and armor, their steeds glittering with beaded harnesses and dyed manes. This is Durbar, an ancient Hausa tradition that echoes royal pageantry, where devotion and sovereignty share the same saddle. It's a procession for the divine, a visual hymn of power, faith, and rhythm. After the prayers, a deeper music begins. Gwari women raise their voices in call-and-response chants, harmonizing with wooden flutes and the steady cadence of hand drums. They sing of Ibrahim's sacrifice and Allah's mercy, but also of rain, harvest, and healing. Praise poets gather in shaded corners, recounting the heroism of their lineage and the blessings of the land. Here, poetry and praise are not separate from prayer, they are its very form. Mawakai, the praise singers, elevate not just Allah, but the ancestors, the community, the spirits that watch from beneath baobab trees. Each verse is a bridge between realms. Children trail elders carrying bundles of meat wrapped in banana leaves, headed for the homes of widows, the sick, and the poor. The act of sacrifice is not complete until every stomach is filled and every name is remembered. It's not charity, it's covenant. Elders pour libations on the soil, whispering prayers in Hausa and Arabic, invoking names no longer spoken in public mosques, but still remembered in sacred tongues. In this village, Eid is not just Islamic, it is indigenously spiritual. The sacred and the cultural walk hand in hand, leaving no one behind. And in the echoes of every chant, every hoofbeat, every fire-roasted feast, the soul of the festival is sung. As the first light of Eid al-Adha dawns upon a Senegalese village, the air becomes thick with anticipation and spiritual fervor. The rhythmic beating of sabar drums echoes through the narrow alleyways, intertwining with the melodic strums of the salam, creating a symphony that awakens the soul. Members of the Muridiyya and Tijaniya brotherhoods, adorned in flowing white garments, gather in open courtyards and sacred spaces, their hearts and minds attuned to the divine. The atmosphere is electric, charged with the energy of devotion and communal harmony. As the drums intensify, worshippers begin to sway, their movements synchronized with the pulsating rhythms. Eyes closed, they enter a state of spiritual trance, a dance of unity that transcends the physical realm. This is not mere performance, it is a sacred act of worship, a physical manifestation of their yearning for closeness to God. Chants in Wolof and Arabic rise and fall, weaving tales of the Prophet Ibrahim's unwavering faith and the profound significance of sacrifice. The melodies passed down through generations carry the weight of history and the hope of salvation. Each note, each beat, serves as a bridge between the earthly and the divine, drawing the faithful into a deeper communion with the Almighty. Children watch with wide-eyed wonder, absorbing the sights and sounds that define their cultural and spiritual identity. Elders, the keepers of tradition, guide the younger generation, ensuring the continuity of these sacred practices. The entire village becomes a living tapestry of faith, where every gesture, every sound is imbued with meaning. As the sun reaches its zenith, the communal feast begins. Plates of lamb seasoned with local spices are shared among neighbors and strangers alike. The act of eating together reinforces the bonds of brotherhood and the principles of generosity and compassion that lie at the heart of Eid. In this Senegalese village, Eid al-Adha transcends ritualistic observance. It becomes a sacred concert of ecstasy and communion, where the boundaries between the self and the divine blur, and the community moves as one in a harmonious celebration of faith. Through drumming, chanting, and dance, the villagers express their devotion, embodying the essence of Sufism and the profound spiritual heritage of their land. In the heart of a Sudanese village, Eid morning breaks not with noise, but with a profound, almost reverent silence. The sun climbs gently over the thatched rooftops, casting long shadows across the courtyard swept spotless for this sacred day. The scent of dust mingles with early morning dew, and there's a sense of holy expectancy in the air. Elders rise before dawn, moving slowly but purposefully, dressed in long white helabiyas. Children follow at a distance, whispering and wide-eyed, learning by watching. At the center of this tranquil stage lies the ram, white, strong, and still, chosen not only for its physical perfection but for its spiritual significance. The moment is not rushed. Before the sacrifice, time slows down. The ram is bathed not just in water, but in recitations of sacred verses from the Quran, spoken with the seasoned cadence of elders who learned these words by firelight decades ago. They murmur Bismillah Allahu Akbar, and the atmosphere thickens with purpose. Water is poured carefully over the animal's back, trickling like tears over its fur. The water carries memory, cleansing not only the body but the moment itself, preparing the ram for its divine offering. As the water flows, so too do whispered invocations, not only of Allah's name, but of the ancestors who paved this path of devotion. The blade is not just an instrument, it is an heirloom. Passed from father to son, it gleams in the morning light. When the cut is made, it is swift and exact, not brutal, but guided. Blood kisses the earth, sealing a spiritual covenant. The first cut of meat is handed by tradition to the most vulnerable, the village widow, the woman wrapped in aged fabric and dignity. Her hands tremble slightly as she receives it, not as charity, but as proof that she, too, stands at the center of the village's spiritual circle. In the hours that follow, the courtyard becomes a theater of devotion. The meat is washed with more blessed water, cut meticulously, then distributed evenly. There is no hierarchy at the table of the divine. The meat travels in woven baskets, banana leaves, and the worn hands of barefoot messengers to neighbors, the sick, and those who have no family. The meal is not consumed in haste. Each bite is taken with intention, each morsel a meditation on gratitude, community, and continuity. Women gather around clay stoves, cooking with spices passed down through generations: coriander, cumin, fenugreek. The aroma rises like incense, drawing children and elders alike. As the stew simmers, stories begin. Oral histories flow like the Nile, winding through generations, reminding everyone that Eid is not just about faith, it is about identity. The story of Ibrahim's test becomes not just a religious tale, but a communal memory, braided into the lineage of those gathered. Even after the meal, the courtyard holds space for reflection. Men sit under the shade of the baobab tree, discussing scripture, history, and dreams. Women laugh softly in the kitchen, braiding hair and singing lullabies passed down from grandmothers long buried but never forgotten. Children reenact the day's rituals with sticks and stones, their games unknowingly preserving sacred order. In this Sudanese village, Eid is not an event. It is a bridge between the living and the dead, between faith and culture, between the divine and the dirt beneath one's feet. The ram is not simply slaughtered, it is honored. The courtyard is not merely a gathering space, it is a shrine. The people are not just participants, they are storytellers of a sacred rhythm that has echoed across centuries. By the end of the day, as the sun melts behind the horizon and prayers rise into the cool night sky, one truth remains. In this place, Eid is more than memory. It is a living tradition, quiet, reverent, and utterly alive. In the vast expanse of Ethiopia's Afar region, where the earth shimmers under the relentless sun and the horizon stretches endlessly, Eid al-Adha unfolds in a manner deeply intertwined with the nomadic rhythms of life. Here, amidst the arid landscapes and under the boundless sky, the Afar people, resilient and devout, prepare to honor a sacred tradition that transcends time and terrain. As dawn breaks, the desert awakens with a gentle stir. The coolness of the early morning is fleeting, soon to be replaced by the day's heat. Families, having journeyed across the rugged terrain, converge at designated gathering spots, their camels adorned with colorful fabrics and intricate beadwork, standing as symbols of pride and festivity. These majestic animals, central to Afar life, are not only beasts of burden, but also integral participants in the celebration, their decorated presence adding to the day's vibrancy. The air is filled with the aroma of meat slow-cooked over open fires, infused with desert herbs that have been used for generations. The preparation of the sacrificial meat is a communal effort, with elders overseeing the process to ensure that every step honors both religious obligations and ancestral customs. The meat is often accompanied by traditional salt cakes, their coarse texture a testament to the region's ancient salt trade, and fermented milk offering a refreshing counterpoint to the hearty fare. Prayers rise in the Saho language, a melodic cadence that echoes across the dunes. The congregation, seated on woven mats, listens intently as the imam delivers sermons that weave together Islamic teachings and local wisdom. The use of the native tongue in religious observance reinforces the community's connection to their heritage, ensuring that the younger generations remain rooted in their cultural identity. Children, dressed in their finest attire, play nearby, their laughter mingling with the rhythmic beats of traditional drums. Women, adorned in vibrant garments, engage in dances that tell stories of faith, resilience, and communal harmony. These performances are not mere entertainment, they are expressions of a living culture, passed down through generations and adapted to the ever-changing landscape. As the sun reaches its zenith, the community gathers for the communal meal. Portions of the sacrificial meat are distributed equitably, ensuring that every family, regardless of status, partakes in the bounty. This act of sharing embodies the essence of Eid al-Adha, reinforcing the values of compassion, generosity, and unity. In the Afar region, Eid al-Adha is more than a religious observance. It is a reaffirmation of identity, a celebration of community, and a testament to the enduring spirit of a people who, despite the challenges of their environment, continue to uphold their traditions with unwavering devotion. In the Comoros, Eid al-Adha begins with a sound that echoes across the shores like a sacred wave, the Hadra. Led by women in flowing, colorful fabrics embroidered with delicate patterns and stitched wisdom, the rhythmic chants build gradually, rising with the Indian Ocean breeze. Their voices, united in devotion and ancestral memory, call forth a spiritual energy that fills the village square. The Hadra is more than a chant, it is a summoning of the divine, a merging of the old with the eternal. Each note carried in that melody seems to travel not just through air but through lineage, awakening the ancestors who once danced and prayed under the same sun. As the first light of day filters through the palm fronds and dances on the whitewashed walls of homes, the aroma of cloves, coconut, and cardamom begins to drift through the narrow village paths. Women stir heavy pots over open fires, while children help shell coconuts, their hands dusted with sugar and flour. Mutton is prepared with ceremonial precision, seasoned not just with spices but with intention. Every meal prepared for Eid is more than nourishment. It is a prayer cooked into the marrow of the celebration, seasoned with gratitude and reverence for both the divine and the departed. In the Comoros, the feast is a sea-born blend of influences: African earth, Arab mysticism, and Indian spice, all bound together by Islamic faith. Rice is steamed with saffron and tossed with raisins. Spicy stews are enriched with tender meat and sweetened by slow-cooked onions. Fish caught at dawn, still shimmering with salt, is wrapped in banana leaves and left to steam in its own spirit. Food is not just consumed, it is shared, blessed, and cherished. Each bite carries history, geography, and theology. As prayers are offered in both Arabic and Swahili, men and women appear in robes that whisper histories of trade and spiritual journey. Their garments shimmer in gold thread, bearing verses of the Quran stitched next to age-old Swahili proverbs. To wear faith on the body is to become part of the Eid story itself. Each step taken in those clothes is a step in sacred alignment. Each fold of fabric, a page in the book of memory. After the morning prayers, the elders gather near the mosque to bless the food, offer words of remembrance, and call out names of ancestors. These names are spoken with reverence, woven into the air alongside incense and burning sandalwood. Children form lines to receive dates, sweet fritters, and tiny gifts. Their joy becomes the living legacy of Eid, wide-eyed, free, rooted in tradition. And when those same children recite prayers in unison, their voices become a bridge between the future and a past too often ignored. Dancers step into the square, where the rhythms of the ngoma drums summon stories of seafarers, warriors, mystics, and mothers. Each beat of the drum stirs a deeper memory, reminding all present that this celebration, while Islamic in origin, is saturated with layers of indigenous resilience. This is not a passive observance of global Islam. It is a proud, uniquely Comorian expression of belonging and divine kinship. The music, the movement, the silence between breaths, all of it becomes part of the sacred offering. Evening descends with a golden hush. Families gather on rooftops and sandy courtyards, breaking bread and sipping warm milk. Candles flicker in wind-blocked lanterns. Across the sea, lights twinkle like distant prayers, and the stars mirror the shimmer of sequined veils worn by women whose hands prepared the meals of the day. The Indian Ocean stretches like a mirror, reflecting a people who, despite centuries of conquest and conversion, still claim their faith on their own terms. They have turned it into something living, something luminous, something wholly their own. In the Comoros, Eid is not only a tribute to Prophet Ibrahim's obedience, but a sacred inheritance preserved in coconut oil, worn on skin, chanted in the open, and danced into the night. It is the embodiment of a spirituality that sails on trade winds and lands in sacred grooves between culture and belief. The celebration is fluid, layered, and intimate, like the tide that returns to the shore with gifts from a deeper world. Here, Eid is not replicated. It is reborn with every generation, dressed in song, fragrance, memory, and movement. In the tapestry of African villages, Eid al-Adha is not merely a religious observance, but a profound expression of cultural identity and communal harmony. As dawn breaks across diverse landscapes, from the arid plains of Sudan to the lush coasts of the Comoros, the essence of Eid is woven into the very fabric of daily life, reflecting a rich mosaic of traditions that transcend borders. In each village, the call to prayer resonates in indigenous tongues, echoing the unique linguistic heritage of the community. Sermons delivered in languages such as Swahili, Hausa, or Wolof not only convey religious teachings, but also reinforce a deep connection to ancestral roots. This linguistic diversity ensures that the spiritual messages of Eid are accessible and resonant, fostering a sense of unity and belonging among the faithful. The preparation and sharing of food during Eid serve as a sacred ritual, symbolizing generosity and compassion. Families come together to prepare traditional dishes, infusing them with local flavors and spices that tell stories of heritage and history. The act of sharing meat from the sacrificial animal, often divided into portions for family, friends, and those in need, embodies the spirit of charity and communal responsibility. Music and dance are integral to the celebration, transforming villages into vibrant centers of joy and spirituality. Rhythmic drumming, melodic chants, and traditional dances are not mere entertainment but acts of worship that elevate the collective spirit. These performances, often led by community elders or spiritual leaders, create a dynamic interplay between the sacred and the communal, reinforcing bonds and celebrating shared beliefs. Communal sharing extends beyond food and music. It is a cornerstone of the Eid experience. Villagers open their homes and hearts to neighbors and strangers alike, embodying the principles of hospitality and mutual support. This collective ethos ensures that no one is left behind, and the joy of Eid is felt by all, regardless of social or economic status. As the day unfolds, these shared practices, rooted in faith, culture, and community, culminate in a celebration that is both deeply personal and universally resonant. The convergence of indigenous languages, sacred food rituals, spiritual music, and communal generosity paints a vivid portrait of Eid in African villages. It is a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the unifying force of shared beliefs. Eid here is not borrowed, it is reborn through the soil, the song, and the soul of each village. Across the vast and varied landscapes of Africa, Islam did not arrive as an outsider demanding silence from native traditions. Instead, it took root gently, weaving itself into the cultural fabric without tearing apart what was already sacred. It did not seek to erase but to embrace, growing through conversation rather than conquest. In every prayer recited under a baobab tree, in every drumbeat that praises the divine, and in every feast shared with the village, we witness a faith that flourished by honoring what came before. Eid al-Adha in these villages is not an imported ritual wearing borrowed clothes. It is deeply local, profoundly ancestral, and beautifully authentic. The Quran's message of sacrifice, mercy, and unity is echoed not only in Arabic verses but in the rhythm of sabar drums, in the scent of smoked mutton wrapped in banana leaves, and in the quiet blessings spoken in Wolof, Afar, Hausa, or Swahili. This is not Islam translated. It is Islam expressed through lived memory, communal values, and sacred aesthetics shaped by the land. The architecture of faith here is built on old stones. In many villages, the mosque shares a courtyard with ancestral trees. The call to prayer coexists with stories of elders who once danced for the rain. The spiritual becomes inseparable from the cultural, forming an Islamic tapestry that is distinctively African. It is textured by the hands of those who remember, by the voices of grandmothers who whisper prayers into cooking pots, and by the children who learn to fast and to feast, not in isolation, but in celebration of all that they are. This tapestry is proof that Islam in Africa is not a copy, but a conversation between sky and soil, between Quran and drum, between Allah and ancestry. As the sun sets across the African horizon, the light glows golden against the faces of elders and children alike. Smoke from open fires coils into the air, carrying with it the aroma of spiced meat and roasted grain. In one village, the young boy passes a piece of meat to his neighbor with both hands, an act taught not just by religion, but by the rhythm of ancestral duty. In another, lanterns flicker to life one by one, each flame a small star, illuminating the sacred night. Women sing softly, cradling memories in their melodies. The air is thick with warmth, not from the heat, but from the spirit of togetherness that only a celebration like Eid can stir. In this sacred space, prayer is more than words. It is the clasping of hands, the sharing of food, the quiet blessing of an elder whispered over a child's bowed head. It is the sacred in the ordinary, the divine meeting the daily in a handshake, a drumbeat, a gaze held long enough to say, "I see you." It is African Islam, not in fragments but in fullness. Rooted in soil and soul, it does not ask for erasure. It thrives through embrace of tradition, of ancestry, of shared humanity. This is not a borrowed celebration. It is not a script imposed. It is a sacred act of remembrance and rebirth. It is the story of Prophet Ibrahim carried not just in text, but in dance, in dye, in drum, in the aroma of food cooked with both faith and love. It is Islam breathing through the bones of African culture, not in opposition, but in harmony. To everyone watching, I ask you to pause, reflect, What stories does your own Eid hold? What songs does your village sing that the world must hear? Share them in the comments below. Tell us of the foods your grandmother made, the prayers your uncle led, the laughter that echoed through your family courtyard. Subscribe to this channel if you want to walk deeper into these cultural journeys, if you want to reclaim and celebrate the beauty of African faith traditions. And now, with all reverence, I pray for every viewer. May your hearts remain open, your tables full, your ancestors honored, and your spirit in harmony with the divine. May your Eid be rich in meaning and light. Eid Mubarak in Hausa, in Swahili, in Wolof, in Amharic, in Somali. Eid Mubarak in every African tongue that holds the sacred.